Hello, welcome back to the channel. Today we're exploring the myths and legends of ancient Egypt, from pulp culture interpretations to the obscure references hidden in their texts. The goal isn't to chase fantasy, but to uncover the real, tangible clues that point toward the evolution of human cognition and the role that the Egyptians may have played in this transition. For centuries, Egypt's pyramids, temples, and hieroglyphic records have challenged modern understanding. Their civilization rose with a precision that seems out of step with their tools, yet knowledge of geometry, resonance, and cosmic cycles suggests a deeper structure to their thinking. Were they among the first humans to experience cognition shaped by quantum biology? Were they unknowingly working with materials and frequencies that enhanced their awareness, altered perception, and expanded the way that they interacted with time? Their myths describe the Ba and Ka, the dual aspects of the self, one bound to the body, the other existing beyond it. The texts speak of sacred energy fields, celestial alignments, and ritual practices that altered states of consciousness. Their work with gold, soot, alkali compounds, and high energy architecture suggests interactions with materials that modern physics now recognize as superconductors, conductors, and resonance amplifiers. So, what does this tell us about the trajectory of human evolution? Were the Egyptians at the threshold of something new, something that signaled an emerging quantum aware cognition? If so, where do we stand now? What signs indicate that our species is once again on the verge of another shift? These are the questions that we'll explore as we examine the reality behind their myths, the science hidden in their rituals, and the materials that they worked with that may have accelerated human consciousness. To understand the truth behind their knowledge, though, we must first explore the myths and legends that have survived across time. The Great Pyramid of Giza stands with precision and purpose, constructed with materials and alignments that reflect a deeper understanding of the forces shaping existence. Official records attribute its construction to the pharaoh Khufu, yet its chambers hold no identifiable remains or inscriptions linking it to a tomb. Unlike later pyramids filled with funerary texts and decorations, the structure exists as a functional anomaly, positioned with near perfect alignment to true north, built from high quartz content granite and resting above an underground water system. Egyptian civilization thrived along the Nile, a force that dictated cycles of time, growth, and renewal. The river shaped agriculture, spiritual beliefs, and the foundations of their knowledge. Ancient texts describe this relationship as a connection between the natural world and forces governing reality itself. Myths from Egypt, Sumer, India, and Mesoamerica reflect common themes: creation through sound, structured energy fields, and the measurement of time and space. The materials of the Great Pyramid contained properties that modern physics recognizes as conductive and resonant. The granite inner chambers, rich in quartz, generated piezoelectric effects under pressure. The movement of water beneath stone structures influenced electromagnetic activity, a phenomenon studied in energy research today. The pyramid's dimensions mirror planetary and celestial cycles, reinforcing an encoded awareness of harmonics and frequency relationships. Traditional archaeology describes pyramids as tombs, yet their construction suggests an additional function. The positioning of massive blocks, the resonance of the chambers, and the integration of water channels indicate an awareness of frequency, pressure, and energy alignment. Similar principles appear in megalithic structures across multiple civilizations, with alignments, materials, and symbolic representations that reflect a shared understanding. The repetition of mythological themes and structural choices suggests an interaction between cognition and quantum states. If awareness interacts with energy field at a fundamental level, civilizations reaching a threshold in perception may have expressed their knowledge through architectural, ritual, and encoded measurement systems without even realizing it. Egyptian mythology, alongside Sumerian and Vedic traditions, describes cyclical existence, structured resonance, and alignment with unseen forces, reflecting an advanced understanding of reality. The Great Pyramid may represent a shift in cognitive function, expressing through architecture rather than language, each layer of analysis revealing patterns that connect human advancement to specific materials, structured alignment, and interaction with forces that shaped perception itself. As we dive further into more obscure myths about the Great Pyramid, researchers say that its purpose remained uncertain. Some of them propose an idea that challenges traditional history, that its structure was meant to generate and harness energy. I briefly mentioned a water reservoir beneath the Great Pyramid. There was a network of underground tunnels that runs deep into the earth. The presence of these channels could suggest that the pyramid was constructed to use the movement of the water for more than flooding the complex to complete each layer. Additionally, inside the Great Pyramid, researchers have detected sound frequencies resonating through its chambers, hinting at a system that interacted with vibration and pressure, kind of like singing wine glasses. Could this structure have been designed to harness those types of natural forces? The precision of its construction raises further questions for some. Blocks weighing over 50 tons are positioned with an accuracy that some people say modern cranes would struggle to replicate. Unfortunately for those people, we have incredibly advanced cranes that can do some pretty cool stuff. I'd recommend visiting the Luxor in Las Vegas, the Bass Pro Shops, or the Louvre. I think we can build pyramids pretty good now with cranes and modern technology. So, in the tombs of Egypt, yet another anomaly does stand out. Passages and burial chambers remain free of soot or smoke marks, yet no evidence of lighting exists. How were these spaces illuminated? Some propose the use of reflective surfaces or chemical reactions, while others suggest that ancient Egyptians understood a different form of energy altogether. I, however, just think that dead people don't need lights. However, these discoveries have fueled speculation that the Great Pyramid may have functioned as an advanced energy device interacting with the Nile's movement and natural vibrations. Its materials, design, and location align with principles found in modern hydrodynamics and acoustics. So, if this structure was engineered with knowledge beyond simple stone stacking, what forces were the builders working with? Were they tapping into natural energy systems? Carvings within the Temple of Hathor at Dendera depict an object that has sparked debate for years. The image knows The image, known as the Dendera light bulb, shows figures standing beside what appears to be a large, elongated bulb emitting energy. Traditional scholars interpret this as symbolic representation of creation myths, but some researchers propose a different possibility, that this is evidence the Egyptians understood electricity, and there may have been attempts to replicate this design to produce electricity, usually with the help of the Baghdad battery or a similar design. Discovered in Mesopotamia, this battery contains copper cylinders and iron rods within clay jars, materials that could generate a weak electric charge. Carvings within the Temple of Hathor at Dendera depict an object that has sparked debate for years. The hieroglyphs, known as the Dendera light bulb, shows figures standing behind what appears to be a large, elongated bulb emitting energy. Traditional scholars interpret this as a symbolic representation of creation myths, but some researchers propose a different possibility, that this is evidence that the Egyptians understood electricity. There have even been attempts to replicate this design to produce electricity, and usually with the help of the Baghdad battery or a similar design. Discovered in Mesopotamia, the battery contains copper cylinders and iron rods within clay jars, materials that could generate a weak electric charge when filled with an acidic liquid. Though debated, this object suggests that ancient civilizations may have experimented with electricity long before its rediscovery in the modern era. If this knowledge existed elsewhere, did Egypt take it further, applying similar principles in their civilization to light up the plateau? Mythology provides another layer of intrigue. Egyptian gods were often described as beings with extraordinary abilities, wielding forces beyond human comprehension. Stories speak of divine energy flowing through them, shaping reality itself. Ancient texts describe the breath of life, a force said to animate statues and empower sacred tools. Could these descriptions hint at lost technologies? Some researchers suggest that these myths encode knowledge of energy systems that once played a vital role in Egyptian civilization. Mainstream Egyptologists insist that the Great Pyramid was built as a tomb, and that is the official stance. No matter how unusual the structure appears, no matter how many anomalies are found, the conclusion remains the same. But that explanation leaves plenty of loose ends. No mummies have been discovered inside the Great Pyramid, no inscriptions dedicated to a pharaoh, no treasure, no funerary goods, nothing that would typically mark it as a royal burial site. If grave robbers took the mummies, where did they go? Artifacts from tombs across Egypt have surfaced in collections worldwide, yet no one has ever stepped forward with a mummy from the Great Pyramid, claiming they found it in an attic or inherited it from their great-great-grandparent with sticky fingers. Then there's the structure itself. It isn't built like a tomb. The passages, the granite-lined chambers, the strange precision, everything about it suggests a unique use. This brings us to an idea that connects the Great Pyramid to another ancient wonder, the Hanging Gardens. Traditionally attributed to ancient Babylon, the gardens remain a mystery, with no ruins definitively linked to them and a few texts describing the gardens themselves. But what if the true location of the Hanging Gardens wasn't a ziggurat at all? What if the pyramid complex, with its potential for water movement, was designed to actually sustain a lush landscape? The few texts that do describe the Hanging Gardens could have just been describing an attempt to recreate an older version. After all, the texts say that the Syrian king built them for his queen who missed her homeland. Additionally, the accounts describe an Archimedes screw system to lead the water to the gardens, something, something easily achievable in the Great Pyramid's passageways. So, was Egypt the queen's homeland? Before concluding, a quick note to Milo Rossi, Mini Minuteman, your work is fantastic, and I appreciate the way that you keep historical discussions grounded and leave space for us plebeians talking about archaeological stories. This discussion is meant to be fun, speculative, and tied into the hyperuniverse hypothesis, which does have a solid scientific foundation. See the links on the channel page in a bibliography for the hyperuniverse hypothesis. And if that hypothesis, as described by physicists like Frederick Fagan, Vladimir Nicholaru, Zhang Yibin, and Nyo Fuda-Klok, holds up, then these ancient puzzles are small echoes of greater cycles, patterns repeating hidden throughout history. So if you do see this, please go easy on me. I'm just following the trail of quantum breadcrumbs. And if that sounds crazy, well, that's half the fun. Okay. If history follows cycles of knowledge and rediscovery, then Egypt may have been part of a repeating process, one where civilizations unknowingly align with fundamental forces of reality. The Great Pyramid, with its materials, geometry, and underlying patterns, may be more than an isolated structure. It could be an imprint of something deeper, a moment where architecture, energy, and consciousness briefly converge to set us on a new evolutionary path. These mysteries touch on the nature of existence itself. While some theories suggest that their rituals, their alignment and with celestial bodies, and the way they structured the world, the Egyptians were unconsciously interacting with quantum dynamics and higher dimensional realities within their new evolving quantum biology. Their temples, their monuments, each may reflect this underlying connection to the forces that shape reality. And we've already uncovered some clues that suggest they constructed their civilization in harmony with the underlying quantum fields of the universe. Physicist Federico Fagan's theories on quantum consciousness propose that reality is shaped by awareness itself. If perception influences the structure of existence, then architecture, the rituals, and structures of Egypt began to reinforce a quantum feedback loop between human consciousness and the energetic framework of the universe. The hyperuniverse hypothesis suggests that consciousness is not confined to a single dimension, but instead functions within a layered, interconnected system beyond physical reality. If this holds true, then civilizations may have structured their environments in ways that unintentionally aligned with these deeper forces. The precise construction of the pyramids, the resonance of the temple spaces, and the recurring emphasis on cosmic alignment may reflect an intuitive relationship with natural principles that extend beyond material existence. These structures would have emerged through a process where culture, observation, and tradition coincidentally aligned with fundamental mechanics of the universe. If consciousness develops along a predictable trajectory, then human civilization reflects that progression. The structures that early cultures left behind offer a record of how cognition and awareness evolved over time through quantum mechanics in our multidimensional reality. The organization of societies, the pursuit of harmony with natural forces, and the emphasis on pattern recognition all suggest that ancient civilizations were experiencing an early stage of what would eventually become a scientific understanding of reality. The pyramids and temples, rather than being evidence of lost knowledge or some fictitious advanced society or aliens, are artifacts of a species moving through the natural phases of cognitive and technological development. Humanity's past serves as a roadmap for its future because the nature of reality is structured in patterns. The stages of human consciousness development can be observed by looking backwards. The ancient world provides physical markers of a process that continues today, a slow but gradual movement towards a deeper awareness of the universe's structure. Egypt, like many early civilizations, represents an era where human perception was beginning to interact with quantum forces, and their myths and monuments are not remnants of a forgotten wisdom or technology, but indicators of a species gradually aligning itself with the deeper principles governing its reality. So, if you enjoyed examining historical patterns, exploring unconventional perspectives, and connecting broader ideas across time and science, like, subscribe, and turn on the notifications for more in depth discussions like this one, smaller bite sized chunks of fun, or any of the methods tied to the hyperhypothesis, backed by science. Thanks for joining me, and I will see you next time.